Hey, how's everybody doing? Good? Amazing. Welcome back. If you've been here before, if you haven't, my name is Maura. I decided, because I have a buttload of library books that I need to get through by a certain time so that they're not overdue, and because I just got a haircut today and I want to show it off, I am gonna do a reading vlog of reading in 24 hours. I've done this kind of video before. Like, it's not gonna be like me sitting through and reading for 24 hours straight. I physically cannot do that because I do have a job, but I am gonna be just setting a timer on my phone for 24 hours and just pausing it and continuing when I pick up a book and decide to start reading. This is also because the book that I'm reading right now, it is taking me so long to get through. The book I'm reading right now is We Are the Brennans, and I really like it so far. It's about an Irish family that moves to New York. Daughter is named Sunday and she moves to LA, and after a few years she gets in a car accident and is pretty beat up. Her brother flies out to go see her, make sure she's okay, and to ask her to come back to New York. She goes back home and she comes across like her resentful parents and her ex-fiance is there. It's taking me so long to get through. Like, I've literally been reading this for almost a week and I'm only halfway through, and that's like unheard of with me. This is actually absurd. It's just a lot for my brain to grasp onto, so I'll read a chapter and then have to put it down and take a break. I'm also in a reading slump, which is just fantastic. So after this book, I'm gonna be reading the rest of my library books. That's why we're here doing this video. Also, everybody comment saying you like my hair, so I feel good about myself. As usual, I will have my book Instagram up here because I post about books a lot on there. It'll also be linked down below along with my Goodreads. Timer is being started right, wait. Okay, it's gonna be blurry, but it's all good. I need to pause. Like, this book is just, like, there's constantly something happening and it's just overwhelming. Hey, so I read like a little bit yesterday. Literally all that I read was in that clip. And then I had a panic attack, so I stopped. I just finished We Are the Brennans. The only thing that like really made it hard for me to like really enjoy this book was it's told in third person, but every chapter is like a different point of view. But then I just like forget what point of view I'm in because it's told in third person. I feel like that confused me more than I think it would have helped. I did like it a lot. I think also I just mentally wasn't with it when I was reading this book, and it took me so much longer than literally any other book that I could read. There were external factors that made it not the best experience in my eyes. When I talk about it, I bought 2 more books because I'm supposed to be on a ban. You know what, I think now I'm really gonna stick with it. I don't know how long. I think I need to like tell myself no. I have 22 books on my physical TBR, not counting library books. 27 actually, because I have 5 books coming in the mail. So I'm set for a bit. The only thing is I feel left out, because people are reading all these books and I'm like, oh, well, I don't have it yet. So the only thing that's gonna keep me from sticking to the ban is if I find Fourth Wing. The next book I'm reading is History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera. This book is about someone named Griffin. It says, when Griffin's first love and ex-boyfriend Theo dies in a drowning accident, his universe implodes. Even though Theo had moved to California for college and started seeing Jackson, Griffin never doubted Theo would come back to him when the time was right. To make things worse, the only person who truly understands her is Jackson, but no one will understand. Wait, no. Okay. Everything on the back just says how emotionally painful this book is. So this is just what I need right now. I mean, goodness. Okay, I'm still reading, but I have to make a short little intermission because look what just arrived. Okay, I bought the rest of this series. I had Twisted Love that I got like 2 days ago, and yesterday for Prime Day, I bought the rest of the series. And for some reason, the third one came first. Second one's coming tonight, and the fourth one's coming tomorrow. Oh my god. I like this book a lot so far. It's about really what I told you to start with. I haven't gotten much further. I don't have any like new information, but basically it's talking about a relationship with 2 boys, and one goes away to school, and then I guess they like broke things off, and then he got a new boyfriend, but they were still friends. I like the way this is set up because it's like flashbacks. It'll say history, which is like back in time, obviously, and then it'll say today, which is like current thoughts. You know right off the bat that he is dead because the first chapter is like him getting ready for his funeral, and I like it a lot because I feel like it's actually showing the stages of grief and not just being like one emotion the whole time. It's kind of like a confused anger in the beginning because he's like, well, you promised me you would never die, which obviously like you can't promise that. So he's like, well, you promised me you'd never die. So he's like kind of a little bit in denial. He's like kind of angry. Other than Fourth Wing, like I'm officially on a ban until, let me say, like September. The thing is, like, I get sad and I buy books. Like today I like got anxious and I was like, confirm order. Like it's an issue and I know that I have one. The number of times I've read something in this book and literally had to go like is actually ridiculous. There is a lot to unpack here. Okay, I liked this book, was not expecting the ending whatsoever. I think some people would read this book and forget that it's about like 17, 18, and 19-year-olds. I think some people would read this and be like, oh, this is like so immature, like what are they doing? But like they're literally children that just suffered death and are trying to grieve and like don't know how to grieve. It really focuses on like anger and denial and confusion, and they're all like taking a blame in what had happened, but it's nobody's fault. They all just like don't know how to handle death, especially when it's with somebody that's like so close to them. Put a blame on somebody so that it can be over with. That's not how it works. The next one is the kiss quotient. I've heard like mixed reviews about this one. Okay, so this is fake dating. Okay, well, we're gonna start then. Hey, these past 3 days, I've been so ridiculously anxious. And I just got off of work and I just wanna sit and read, but I got a package. Because I'm not doing too well. My grandmother basically decided that she is gonna book me a flight to go back to Maryland. I don't even know if anybody like in my immediate family, like my mom or dad, know. Surprise, I'm gonna be in Maryland in like 2 weeks. Only for like 3 days, we're gonna go to the beach. I just haven't had a vacation in a year, which I know doesn't seem like that long. Like people go so much longer without a vacation, but I'm from Maryland and I'm like 2 hours away from the beach, so I would go to the beach all the time, like all the time. I haven't gone to the beach and my grandmother's like, you need to come home for like 2 days, go to the beach, and I was like, you know what? Okay. The kiss quotient, I got like 5 chapters in. I really want to get like over halfway tonight. Basically, she goes on a date with this guy. I think it was through a dating app. Everything happened so fast that I was like, how are we already like in the first smut? And then they like started to like do some things. She sort of started getting nervous, and then he was like, well, why are you nervous? Like, not as in like, that sounded harsh. He wasn't like, why are you nervous? He was like, what's wrong? Like, is everything okay? Like, and she's basically saying that like the guys that she's been with before usually like don't care about that kind of thing and they just like do it anyway. And he was like, well, that's not normal. Like, let's have like a real connection. So now they're just sitting watching TV. I feel like I could like it. It's a little out of my romance book kind of trope. I finished this. I don't want to spoil this book, but I will say that literally all of the questions that I wrote down, none of which were actually answered. I have more questions leaving this book that weren't answers than I did after chapter 5. I have to give this 2 stars. The next book that I'm reading for this video is The Last Thing He Told Me. I've heard great things about this. This is about someone named Owen, which is okay. Manages to smuggle a note to his beloved wife of 1 year which says protect her. Despite confusion and fear, Hannah Hall, his wife, knows exactly to whom the note refers to, Owen's 16-year-old daughter. It says Bailey, the daughter, doesn't want anything to do with her stepmother. So they're basically trying to like figure out what is going on because apparently Owen disappears and then the note comes out. So they're trying to work together and be like, okay, well, what happened to him? Hannah wants to protect Bailey, but Bailey doesn't care about her stepmom. That's what's going on here. I'm actually very excited for this one. Yeah, I'm probably just gonna stay up and read as much as possible, and then I'll check back in when I have something to say. my next book, which was The Last Thing He Told Me. I gave it 3.5 stars. This one, like, I did enjoy it. I just have a hard time getting attached to thrillers and like mysteries like this. It was a really good book. I liked it a lot. I read it pretty fast. I wasn't expecting like the plot twists and stuff, but again, I just like felt nothing for the characters, and I had so many questions that were never answered. And it's like big key points. It's not like I just have a bunch of questions like, and did they do this? Like, I don't care about that. I'm just saying like the literal big points in the plot that I have written down here that I'm not gonna spoil. Did any of these things actually get answered? I have no idea. But as for like entertaining, I was pretty entertained by this book. This book is finished. The next book I'm very excited about because I have Conversations with Friends. I've just wanted to read this for a while. So I also love a good book set in Ireland. This is about Frances, who is a cool-headed and darkly observant young woman vaguely pursuing a career in writing while studying in Dublin. At a local poetry performance one night, Frances and Bobby catch the eye of Melissa, a well-known photographer, and as the girls are gradually drawn into Melissa's world, Frances is reluctantly impressed by the older woman's sophisticated home and tall, handsome husband, Nick. Okay. However amusing and ironic Frances and Nick's flirtation seems at first, it gives way to a strange intimacy, and Frances's friendship with Bobby begins to fracture. Holy moly. Ooh, this says, Conversations with Friends is wonderfully alive to the pleasures and dangers of youth and the messy edges of female friendship. Girl, I know all about that. I was about to leave for work, but my Lucy score books are here. But I'm really confused because I can feel that both of these books are in this one, but they sent me another one. I think this is literally empty. So I'm gonna open this one first because I'm intrigued. What the okay, so this wasn't empty actually. Okay, now I feel bad. Basically, the other day I was like, and by the other day I mean literally yesterday, not doing well. My mom texted me and was like, silver or gold, and I was like, silver. Why? She said like a present box. My mother got me this and it says 222 on it, and that's my angel number. Thank God I opened that because I was like, oh, it's probably just like an empty one. Let me just like throw it out. I was genuinely going to throw out this gift that my mom got me because I didn't know that's what it was. Thanks, Mom. But these are the books. Things We Never Got Over is right here. Things We Hide from the Light. Do you see how pretty these books are? Is this a joke? These are gonna go on my bookshelf right here. Well, I gotta reorganize it real quick. Do I feel like doing that right now? Yeah, actually, I do. This is so cute. You're not even gonna be able to see it though because I have a sweatshirt on, but it's fine. Or as the French say, duh duh duh. Okay, it's literally not focusing and I can't get my hand on it. This is so embarrassing. We're like way too close and personal. Yay. That's all, now I have to go to work. Okay, so I finished Conversations with Friends. I gave it 5 stars. I really liked it. It's about Frances, who's 21, and she is out at like this poetry night with her best friend Bobby. They meet this photographer named Melissa, and they go to like a little party and they meet Melissa's husband, who's an actor named Nick. Nick is 32. He's 11 years older than Frances, and they end up like hooking up. And he ends up like continuing to have this affair with Frances, and she knows that obviously he's married and like he's in love with his wife, but over time she's like, he can't love her if like he's having an affair with me. And then her best friend Bobby is like, you can definitely love 2 people at once. Like, you need to realize that you're not the only woman. Like, you are one of 2, maybe more. A big like keynote that I had written, she's made to feel a certain way or more superior than the wife, but is let down over and over again and still goes to Nick, because there's like this satisfaction in her where she's like, he's having an affair with me as like a 21-year-old when he has a wife his age. Like, obviously their relationship has to be messed up and he has to like want to be able to get out, and she basically thinks that like he's gonna leave and they're gonna go and like run away together and Frances and Nick are gonna be together. That's what's going on in her head, and he's like, I'm married, and she's like, then why are you having an affair with me? Like, what's the point? I know people that don't like Sally Rooney books because of the way that they're written. Like, there's no quotation marks. The way it's set up is kind of confusing, but I think once you read it and like you get used to how it's written, like you start to register everything as what it's supposed to be. Like when I first started reading normal people, I would read it and not realize that I was reading things that people were saying because they weren't in quotations. But now reading conversations with friends, it like clicks in my brain without having to think about it. I read it at like 3 a.m. and I started reading the next book, which is Beautiful World, Where Are You? By Sally Rooney as well. So basically in this one, Alice is another writer and she meets Felix and is like, let's go on a trip together. And then back in Dublin, her best friend Eileen, who is also an intellectual. I'm reading the stuff that's very obviously her point of view in a chapter, which it doesn't specify, but you just kind of have to like realize that this is probably from this person's point of view. I'm reading from her point of view and I'm like, what the heck is she saying? Like, she's talking about like science. I don't know. Good for her, but like, I'm okay. I'm okay. But Eileen is getting over a breakup and slips back into flirting with Simon, a man that she's known since childhood. I'm gonna keep reading this. I like this a lot so far. Update time. First update is that I broke my book buying ban again. But now I think I'm content. I can really be finished buying books for a bit right now. But I did just buy Fourth Wing. Okay, I was ordering my groceries and I looked and they had Fourth Wing for $10 off. It's a little update on my life right now. With the book that I'm reading currently, Sally Rooney is doing it again. I really just love the characters that she makes and I feel like they're so relatable and real and I connect with them so well. Ugh, I need to keep reading. Farewell. So I'm currently getting ready for work. I did some reading last night. I haven't really been filming myself reading because I'm reading at like 3 a.m. and it's just not very aesthetic. Like I look like a mess in my bed. I don't know what Sally Rooney puts in her books, but if you're not understanding it or like they're not hitting for you, I'm sorry. So I wrote, Sally Rooney writes about men who don't know how to be with women and women who dream too big for the wrong men. Obviously like age gap relationships like happen. Conversations with friends like very much could be like a real story that happens, but something about Beautiful World just like felt like more realistic to like the common folk. But last night I couldn't sleep because I've been going to bed at like 3 a.m. I was like, I need to go to bed because I have work in the morning, but I couldn't go to bed. So I started reading my next book, which is, let me go get it. The next one that I started reading is You Say It First by Katie. I'm not gonna say that because I don't know how to. It's a YA book, and normally with YA books I like don't really care for them that much. And I was like, okay, you know, it's a library book. I just need something to like make my eyes tired so I can go to bed. Tell me why I did not put this book down and I read like 200 pages in one sitting at like 1 a.m. It's about this girl named Meg who is like very involved in school, like wants to go to Cornell. She works at a voter registration hall center in Philly and she calls a phone number that is in Ohio. She calls and like gets this kid on the phone. She's like, are you an adult or is there an adult home? He's like, I'm 18. He ends up calling this guy Colby, who's like, his dad just killed himself, so he's like going through a lot, and then he's also just in like a bad friend group. He's got like beef with his brother, like there's a lot of stuff going on. So she calls this guy like unknowingly and is asking for his dad, and he basically snaps and is like, well, my dad killed himself, so you're not gonna be getting him on the phone. So she of course is like, oh my god, okay, that's super awkward. I did not mean to like pull this trauma out of this man. So she ends up calling back and like leaving a voicemail and being like, hey, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. I wasn't trying to like get up all on your information and your business. I just was trying to like do my job. Like, I'm sorry. And then he realizes that like that was a little harsh on his part, so he goes to call her back and she answers and he's like, oh, I thought that like I'd just leave you a voicemail. I didn't think you'd actually answer. Thought we'd like do the voicemail thing that we've been doing. She ends up answering and then they just like become friends over the phone. Wasn't expecting to like indulge in it as much as I am. Like I feel like I'm in like Magic Tree House where they like first get to wherever they are and like their location and they're like, what the heck? Like that's how I feel reading like this YA book. Hey, I'm here to give you a little update while I put my groceries away. Yesterday I was at work and I was reading on my phone a little bit and I read and finished You Say It First. It was just cute. It was like an easy, nice filler read. I needed that for sure because I was coming off of 2 Sally Rooney books, which I really liked, but if you know like Sally Rooney's style, that was just like, I needed to have something that was an easy read. But then I finished that and I started reading Culty by Mariana Zapata. So I started reading Colty. I like it so far. I'm 200 pages in, and of course they haven't had like one positive interaction. They've had like one. They're kind of friends now, but like she's even confused. But the plot of it basically is this girl named Sal is a soccer player, and she's 27, and her whole like teenage years growing up she was obsessed with Rainer Colty, who is a German soccer player, and she had like a huge crush on him and was like, we're gonna get married and have soccer babies. And then he, you know, of course had like a real wife, and she was like, ugh, well, hate him. Like, I did that with like Niall when I was younger, so it's fine. He ends up being her new assistant coach, and they like bump heads immediately, but it's supposed to be like a romance book. So I'm just very curious. They have like an they have like a 13-year age gap. So I'm really interested to see like how this goes, but then again, like it's her celebrity crush, so like I'll let it slide. And then while I was waiting for my groceries to be brought out to me, because I have anxiety so I don't go inside to pick them up, I started reading the third book in the Briar You series by Elle Kennedy, and it is The Play, and I'm literally 2 pages in, but I'm so excited because everyone knows I love a good hockey book. But I have like 20 minutes left. I've been reading over the span of like a week because unlike a lot of other booktubers, like I have like a job. Like this is not my job. I have like a job. This is just for fun. I have other priorities. I have like 20 minutes left. I'm gonna put groceries away, keep reading Colty, I think, until my time is up, and then we'll discuss. Goodness. 24 hours is done. I'm halfway through Colty. I like it, but like literally they just had like their first physical touch, and by physical touch I mean he literally brushed by her and like they barely grazed each other. I think out of this experience, my favorite book I want to say was probably Beautiful World, Where Are You? I think if I were to rank, like my least favorite would probably be, wait, I actually returned some library books. I don't even know what I have. I can't answer that. I guess we'll never know. That's all I have. I'm just gonna keep reading. That's not all I have, because look at what came in the mail today. Are you kidding? Yeah, this was the one book that I was like, I can break my book buying ban for this. Oh my god, like what if I took off the sleeve and just had it? Don't give me ideas. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you got some book recommendations out of this, but if you didn't, oh well. I didn't say I was gonna promise you any. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you when I see you.